Hello everyone, my name is Ari. I'm the EMEA Marketing Coordinator here at eFolder, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. For anyone who's never joined an eFolder webinar before, welcome. This webinar series brings together experts from the eFolder staff and our partner community for a deep dive discussion on really key services and practical topics. And today's presentation is all about online marketing and best practice tips for MSPs. And for this, we are being joined by Tim Kelsey, who's the Director of Marketing Services at Pronto Marketing. Hi, Tim, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, everyone. Happy to be here and excited to go over some marketing tips with everyone today.
All right. I like your energy. So before we go through the agenda, I just wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. Today's session is being recorded, which means that the recorded version of the webinar will be made available on eFolder's YouTube channel, but we will also make copies of the slides and the recording available to everyone who registered for the event. So make sure you check your emails later this afternoon for both the slides and the recording. And as you may be able to tell by now, we have put everyone into listen-only mode, which means you can enjoy the audio portion of today's session either by just streaming it on your computer or by dialing in over your phone. And of course, questions are strongly encouraged. Please don't hold back. We have a special Q&A saved for the end of today's discussion, but you can also just submit questions through your Q&A log on the right, and we'll do our best to just address them on the fly. And today's session, as you can see, follows a logical flow. First, we will discuss what exactly online marketing means and what kinds of activities it entails. We will then go into challenges and opportunities that online marketing holds, especially for MSPs, and then discuss how Pronto Marketing can support MSPs in establishing a stronger online presence. And first off, I would like to just talk a little bit more about our expert speaker today, Tim Kelsey. Originally from the US, Tim moved to Bangkok in 2010 to start working for Pronto Marketing, where he is now the Director of Marketing Services. And over the last years, he has collected in-depth experience in social media marketing, digital campaign development, SEO strategies, as well as developing marketing tactics specifically for MSPs. So quite a track record, Tim. Glad you could join us today and share some of your insights. And maybe you could just start off and talk a little bit more about Pronto Marketing for anyone who may not be familiar with, your company. What's your story? What are your customers? Stage is yours.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Pronto was founded back in 2008 by Derek Brown and his son Corey. Prior to Pronto, Derek was a marketing director at Microsoft, working with the small business server division and I think the mobile division as well. And during his time at Microsoft, he saw that MSPs were really struggling with their web presence and with their online marketing, particularly on execution. Part of his responsibilities at Microsoft included working with them to promote the Microsoft services like small business server, and that's where he really realized that he would say, "Go do this to help promote our Microsoft services," and they just wouldn't do it. So he got to a point where he decided he no longer wanted to work for Microsoft and wanted to start his own business, and he found that opportunity with MSPs and saw that they really needed help with their website management and with their marketing. And that's where Pronto originally came from. When we first started, we only provided our services to MSPs. Since then, we've grown into providing services for all sorts of industries. But MSPs still remain about 75% of our client base and is really where the majority of our expertise lies. As far as the services we provide, the main thing that we do is build and maintain websites for our clients. So we'll build a mobile-friendly website for you, and for a monthly fee, we stick around and maintain that site. So if you ever need a new page written, if you need something new designed, all it takes is an email to our team, and we have the experts standing by to make sure that gets done and implemented on your site. And on top of that, we offer a wide range of marketing services from SEO to online advertising to social media email marketing, and really we want to be the one place that our clients turn to for all their website and online marketing needs.
All right, great. Sort of a one-stop shop for online marketing and digital campaign strategies. That's awesome. All right, thank you. I think that gives everyone a pretty good overview. And so I want to just jump right in and give the audience a better background of what exactly online marketing entails, because it's something that is often mentioned in articles and best practice tips, and yet it's such a broad field and entails so many different activities that it's really easy to lose track or, lose an overview. Because online marketing is a pretty broad term, and it contains a bunch of different marketing activities that businesses can adopt to establish, improve, and also maintain a stronger online presence. So for one, of course, a convincing website is really important and a great first step in establishing that online presence and, building a stronger contact for your clients and prospects. But the problem is often businesses start there and kind of stop there too. But there are a bunch of other activities and initiatives that business owners could consider also. A couple of them are, for example, creating social media content or social media profiles, going more into content creation, sending out emails and newsletters, diving more into search engine optimization and paid online advertising. Those are all tactics that you should consider adopting. The rule of thumb here, though, is the more consistent and present you can be, the higher your success rate is going to be. So what we often see in our partner base is that, MSPs or business owners start profiles on a variety of different social media platforms. They're on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. But then going along in the year, they find having so much on their plate and getting so overwhelmed with the day-to-day that they stop or almost abandon certain social media platforms. And that is almost worse than not having a social media platform or profile at all. Because if prospects come and search for your company and find you on LinkedIn and see that only one other person is following your profile, it makes a worse impression than not finding you in the first place. So when it comes to especially social media, quality is always more important than quantity, making sure that you can be more persistent and consistent in your strategies. But when you do invest time into online marketing and sit down and develop a consistent and coherent strategy, small businesses developing online marketing strategies have an excellent avenue to attract clients and prospects because these strategies are usually very cost-effective and easy to measure. So some of the benefits you can hope getting out of an online marketing strategy are, for one, attracting new customers because you'll be able to conduct targeted paid search campaigns. You will also be able to engage and nurture leads because you'll produce marketing material that is targeted to niche markets and to your target audience and just attract more of their attention. And third, you'll be able to develop high-impact search strategies. Even with a limited budget and limited resources and time, you'll be able to, invest and see quite impressive results. And the overall goal of online marketing is always creating a consistent and increased stream of leads. And once you got them into the door, being able to maintain these leads and turn them into valuable clients for your business. Tim, just from your experience, what would you say, why is it important for SMBs in general to put, an emphasis on online marketing and creating a convincing website?
So I think there's a couple of points that you already touched on that are really important. First is that the website is really where everything needs to start. And it's important because one sort of analogy we like to use is that if you have a bad website, it's like trying to carry water in a bucket with holes in it. So really building that strong foundation where you can funnel your marketing efforts into a bucket that's actually going to start collecting leads for you. That's really where it starts, is having a website that gives off a professional presence and convinces people that you're someone that they can trust in a business that they want to build a relationship with. On top of that, the web presence itself is just an absolute requirement today, that even if someone doesn't hear about you through online marketing, maybe they hear about you through a referral or see some offline advertising that you're doing, the first place they're going to go before contacting you is your website to see what it looks like, learn more about your company. And if you don't have that immediate first impression that you're trustworthy and professional, they're going to be gone and looking to a competitor. And then outside of the website, with investing in marketing and putting time and resources into marketing, it's really, your website alone isn't enough to start bringing in those leads. Having a website is the foundation and is really fundamental to your marketing, but it's not the thing that's going to start bringing in new leads and new business for you. And that's really where marketing comes in. It's putting time and money into content, into SEO, into online advertising or social media, and it's those channels that really start spreading awareness of your brand or convincing people that they should get in touch with your company and establish some sort of relationship and partnership with you.
All right, great, thank you. So that was a good summary of, why should you consider doing online marketing. And now you may be in the category that has, considered conducting online marketing strategies and is well aware of the benefits, but you just feel very challenged in implementing these ideas. Because yeah, it's not a piece of cake, and many of these initiatives you can't just take off overnight. It's a long-term time investment process, and it needs to, like we said, it needs to be consistent and aligned with your overall business strategy. So let's just quickly dive into some of the challenges and opportunities that MSPs may be facing when it comes to online marketing. So a few challenges that we hear partners talk about across the globe is building a quality website in the first place. So when a business does decide to go online, the first challenge will always be building the best website possible. And while this is also most of the time the biggest challenge that partners face, overcoming that hurdle is vital to your business success. In fact, studies have shown that 46% of people say that a website design is their #1 criteria for determining the credibility of a company. And that is huge. In this digital day and age, a coherent and well-designed website is almost like your digital business card. You would put a lot of time into designing your business cards, printing them on high-quality paper, and making sure it's distributed in the right way. And the same amount of time, effort, and thoroughness needs to go into your website. And on top of making sure that it's well designed, it needs to also be functional and designed to work well for what you want to achieve in your business. For example, gaining clients or making money or promoting yourself as a thought leader. And then once you've overcome that and figured that out and have a website up and running, the next challenge then may be creating valuable content that will attract the right kind of visitors for your kinds of products and services. So you need to figure out who your target audience is, who your niche markets may be, and what kinds of content these audiences may be attracted to. And creating that content, creating valuable and relevant content can be a challenge because it utilizes a certain skill set, right? It takes a great deal of time and expertise to write the right kinds of blog posts, publish the right kinds of white papers, and not all small business owners have the capability to invest into doing that. So once you've overcome that challenge and figured out a way that works for you, you then have to figure out a way to promote that content. And one of the best ways to share your knowledge and share the resources that you've created and the collateral you've designed is through social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Those four are the ones that we see businesses use most frequently because all of these are valuable platforms to make your business more known. And the goal of social media for businesses is to grow a large audience, right? An audience that is interested in your business, and you want to hook that audience's attention. And in order to do that, you need to invest a lot of time into posting, responding, but also monitoring comments made on your profile, as well as other influencers in your industry across all social media platforms. And again, that's very time intensive, and that time is not always a commodity for all small business owners. So again, something where you have to sit down and figure out what is realistic for a business, what platforms can we leverage, how much time can we allocate to creating and distributing content. Tim, from your experience, what do MSPs struggle with the most when it comes to online marketing?
I think there's two main areas that MSPs struggle with. One is knowing what to do and how to do it, and the other, like you mentioned, is having the time and the resources to actually execute on that. Like you mentioned, building a great website and building a great online presence takes a lot of expertise. There's a lot that you need to know. Just in building a website alone, say for example, a platform like WordPress is one of the easier platforms out there for building a website, but unless you know HTML and CSS and have experience in uploading files through FTP protocols, it's actually a very complicated platform if you have no experience in it already. And the same goes for marketing channels like AdWords or SEO or social media, where if you don't have expertise in that field, it takes much more of your time to learn that first and then execute on it. So there's definitely a category where you do need expertise in a wide range of marketing fields to know the right thing to do and to build a website and an online marketing strategy that will actually work. And then on the other side, if you do figure that out and you have your plan and you know what you want, it takes time to do these things. It takes time to write a blog article or to maintain your social media presence or to be guest posting for SEO. It really takes a lot of effort to do all the things that need to be done with marketing. And I think one thing that you've touched on a few times already that is really important is that you need to be consistent. And you really need to be able to put in that time on a regular basis. It can't be something where you say, okay, this week we're going to get our social media profiles in order, and then 2 weeks later you haven't done anything except do a couple of posts a few weeks ago. So it's really, it takes a lot of time to maintain that marketing strategy and keep it moving forward. So it really boils down to those two things that we hear from our clients, is that they don't have the expertise in knowing what to do, and if they do have the expertise, or say they have their own internal marketing team, they still don't necessarily have the time to do everything it takes to build that strategy and actually execute on it.
Right. Yeah, that's very similar to what our client base is talking about as well. Time and consistency, and just being confused about what works and what they should and shouldn't invest their resources in.
Exactly. Yeah,
so
we get that a lot too.
Exactly. But we don't want to encourage anyone on the line, because yeah, there are challenges facing along the way, just like it's challenging building your own business from scratch. But figuring it out and taking that time to really understand how marketing could help your business or your MSP growth. Just looking at a couple of stats here, studies show that 94% of SMB clients go online and research companies in the web before deciding whether or not they want to do business with them. So oftentimes, whether you work mostly on word of mouth or referral systems, chances are extremely high that your website, your social media presence, your online resources are going to be the first touch point that prospects and leads are going to have with your business. And at the same time, 66% of small business owners say that finding new customers is a top concern. Especially when you start off growing your MSP business, many partners decide on working primarily with word of mouth or on a case-to-case referral basis, but that only gets you so far, right? At a certain point, you have to figure out other ways to attract new leads and expand that pool of prospects that you're working with. So if you are in the 66% that are questioning how to find new clients, you'll find them online, or they find you, and making sure that you are being found by the right kind of prospects and that you reflect the image that you want them to see about your business is really important. At this point in time, social media or online marketing is still something that a lot of SMBs struggle with. Only 25% of small business owners say that to date they invest time into online marketing. And about a third, a little over a third of SMBs say they plan to increase their digital marketing spend in the next 12 months. So at this point in time, a lot of businesses are still, like Tim already said, are still unsure about, what what way should we go here, what activities work for us, how do we even get started. But it's also a growing majority of businesses that is becoming more and more aware of the need of doing online marketing and the need to increase their budgets here in order to see the results they want to see. So if you sit down now and are able to develop a website that is really convincing and a social media strategy that just makes your business stand apart, it will give you a huge competitive advantage over your competition because very few of your competitors are in fact doing online marketing at this point. So just to sum it up, especially for MSPs, making sure that you invest time into online marketing is going to make sure that you can change the perception of your business. You are in charge of how prospects and clients perceive your website, perceive your online presence, and you can add transparency in communicating with your prospects and clients. Especially as an MSP, you are always in the business of trust, right? You want to make sure that your clients trust you with their sensitive data and trust that you know what you're talking about, and you know that you'll be able to back the client's data up and let them rest assured at night, sleep well. And in order to gain that trust and maintain that trust, your clients and prospects need to know as much about your business as possible, and digital marketing or online marketing is a great way to do that. On top of that, by being able to create content, valuable content, and share it online on the right kinds of platforms, you're also able to position yourself as a thought leader. If you keep posting things about cyberspace or cybersecurity, for example, chances are that prospects find you through that content you've created and shared online and automatically gain more trust in your services, your expertise, and your skill set, and are more prone to do business with you. And then lastly, online marketing is great to analyze really quickly because you usually work with platforms and tools that already have analytical tools and systems integrated, which makes it really easy for you to quickly realize what works and what doesn't work and then readjust if necessary. So especially if you're short on time, this is a great way to go about this. So that hopefully gave you an idea of, the things that online marketing could or could not do for your business and where you may have to be aware of challenges and overcome a few hurdles. But that's where Pronto Marketing comes in because you don't necessarily have to go do it all alone. There are, agencies and support tools in place for you, especially as an MSP, to get you as successful as possible. So Tim, could you just jump in and talk a little bit about the different kinds of services that you could provide to MSPs in particular or clients in general?
Sure. So as I mentioned a bit earlier, really our wheelhouse and the main service that we provide is our managed website service. And through that program, we charge a $500 setup fee and $247 a month. And as I mentioned earlier, it's sort of an all-you-can-eat service. So if you need something written, if you need something designed, we have a staff of about 100 people today that are standing by and ready to help you, to give you guidance when you're not sure what to do, and to help you execute on things when you're ready to launch a marketing campaign. And really, I think that's the important part of our service, is that we are experts standing by, ready to help out. I mean, if you're looking at a local web developer or a big agency, what they typically like to do is charge you a large fee up front for building your website. It might be $3,000 to $10,000 to just build that website as a one-time project. And then you have that website and you're all excited, it's launched and it looks great, but sooner or later you're going to need something updated on that site, or you might get hacked, or something might break, and you need someone who's going to be there to help fix things or to help you expand upon things. And with that big sort of project way of approaching websites, you need to then go find a new vendor who's going to be able to help you maintain your site and make sure it's safe and secure and up to date. One thing we like to say is that your website is never done, and that's why we're here. Your website should always be growing and evolving to match how your business grows and evolves. If you launch a new service, you need a new page on your site explaining that service to your audience. And we can write that, we can implement it for you, we can design graphics for it, we take care of all of it for you. I really like to tell our clients that we become an extension of your team when you become a client. And we should be the first place you turn to when you're unsure about what to do with marketing or what to do about your website. Just come ask us, and we can either do it for you, or if we can't do it for you, we can point you in the right direction, tell you how to do it yourself, tell you a company that might be more of an expert in that field. So really, we become an extension of your team and someone that you can depend on to be there as your business grows.
Great.
Our e-commerce platform is something we just launched. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to go into more depth with the e-commerce website and marketing services, but you got it covered.
Okay, yep. Yep. Our e-commerce solution is something that we just launched earlier this year, and it doesn't necessarily apply to all MSPs, but if you have any products that you can sell directly, I mean, I know MSPs are typically looking to sell managed services packages, but if there's a specific product that you're trying to sell, we can set up a shop for you on your site and help you get everything lined up for payment processing and inventory control and all the things that go along with having an e-commerce website. And our marketing services sort of have evolved over the years. When Pronto was originally founded, we only provided our website service. And over the years, our clients have asked us to do more and more for them. And we've sort of expanded our team and our expertise to fulfill those requests. So we've moved into things like social media management, SEO and link building. We do AdWords campaign management, email marketing. We have a very popular monthly email newsletter service for our MSPs. That's one of the basic things that when Derek first founded the company, he saw that most MSPs weren't even able to execute on a monthly email newsletter to their clients and prospects. So that's something that our team just handles it all for you, and a lot of our marketing services are built to include you as much or as little as you want. So with our newsletter service, for example, if you want us to just take care of it and send it out each month, we can do that with very little input from you. On the other hand, if you want to be very closely involved and make sure that the messaging is exactly what you want it and it directly pertains to your audience, everything can be reviewed by you. You can ask for revisions on content and moving things around in the newsletter. So if you want to be highly involved in making sure it perfectly represents your company, we're happy to work with you on that level too. So really our marketing services are there for those clients that know that the website alone isn't enough to build their online presence, and to really start pulling those leads in, you need to be investing in other areas.
All right. And when you say, you create newsletters or do social media platform management, do you create entire social media profiles for your clients from scratch?
Yeah. So what we usually do with social media is if a client comes to us and wants us to help with social media and doesn't have an existing presence at all, our program currently covers Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+. And so we'll go build profiles for that client on those platforms, make sure that the profiles are well designed, that they have a banner image and a profile image that sort of matches the design and feel of their website, so they have this sort of cohesive branding across all their web properties. And then we'll post status updates on a regular basis for them, and our clients are always welcome if they have something specific that they want us to share. If they have pictures from a company event or an office party or something like that, they're always welcome to send those to us, and we'll schedule them to post on their social profiles. On the other hand, if a client comes to us with an existing profiles, we can either update their designs for them if they need updating, or we'll just take over management of them as they stand today.
All right. I love that you mentioned, sharing pictures of the company itself and company events. That's something that we like to recommend to clients as well, because certain social media platforms, especially Facebook, for example, is not just about sharing blog posts and
Right.
company updates. It's also giving the prospects and leads and your social media followers a chance to really get to know you and all of your business sides, including your teamwork events, your cooperation, looks behind the scenes, how does your office look like. Those are great ways to get your followers more engaged and just give them a better understanding of who you are and how you work on all different levels. So
Right.
that's
It really
great.
puts a human face on your business. And I think that's
Hmm.
sort of an important step in relationship building.
Right, exactly. So when a new client comes to you and approaches you, what's the step-by-step process between, inquiring about your services and actually having a website up and running? How do you work with that client?
Sure. So usually it starts off talking to our sales team, and they'll go over all the details about exactly what's included in our program and what you can expect going forward. When you sign up, we have a fairly extensive sign-up process where we ask a lot of questions about your business and your design preferences. We ask for examples of websites that you like, just so we can get an idea of the types of things that you're looking for, or any specific information about your business that we should know when building your website. If there's anything that you want us to write about, if you want to tell us what you think makes you different from your competitors, that's a great place for our writing team to start and sort of build the content of your homepage and the other pages on your site around that idea of what makes you unique and why a potential client should choose you over one of your competitors. Once we have that set up, our team gets started doing sort of a creative brief and wireframe process where we start writing the content for your homepage and some of the internal pages on your site, as well as building mock-up designs of what your site could potentially look like. All of that gets sent to you to review. You'll be able to look over all the content we write, provide your feedback. You can make changes directly to that content if you want, or if you just want to give us general guidelines of what needs to be changed, our team can go back and rework it. And same with the design. You'll have a chance to review this mock-up image of your homepage and say, I want this moved around, or I don't like this color scheme here. And we're happy to work with you on changes to the content and to the design until you're totally happy. Once both of those are approved, we'll start building the website on a production server that isn't public, and we'll build out everything from the home page to all the internal pages, and essentially build your working, functioning website. And again, before launching, you'll have a chance to review everything on that site, make sure all the forms are working, make sure all the links are working. We double check all that too, but a lot of our clients just want to make sure everything's working perfectly before launching. So we go through a live working website with you, and then once that's ready to go, we provide DNS instructions to change your, if you're hosting through GoDaddy, or you have your domain registered through GoDaddy or Network Solutions or any of the other big domain registrars. We'll provide instructions on how to make that change to launch your website on your domain. And then from there, we provide ongoing reporting about how your website's performing in terms of traffic, keyword rankings, who's filling out contact forms on your website. We have an add-on solution for seeing who's placing phone calls from your website and recording those phone calls. So there's a lot that we do in terms of monitoring performance. And like Ari mentioned earlier, analytics is crucial to online marketing because it tells you what's working and where you should be investing your money. And I mean, if you see that your rankings are struggling, you're not getting a lot of traffic from search engines, that's a pretty clear sign that you need to be doing more for SEO and investing in link building to improve those rankings and start driving more qualified traffic to your site. So from there, we can go over those results with you, and like I mentioned earlier, we're always around to help out and make any changes that you need on the site as long as you're a client with us.
Great. And what's the time frame that, on average between approaching you, the first meet and greet meeting, and actually having a website up and running?
Sure. So typically what we say from sign up to actually launching is about 4 to 6 weeks. A lot of that depends on the complexity of your website and what it requires to meet your needs and how responsive you are throughout that time. I mean, if you're very quick in saying, this mock-up looks great and doesn't need any revisions, of course that's going to help move things along faster. But I do think it's important to work on those revisions and get something that you're definitely happy with. We can be a bit faster if it's an emergency. I mean, we've had clients come to us and have their website hacked and it's basically totally destroyed and they have nothing. And in those cases, we can usually turn around at least some sort of holding page with some basic information within a few days or a week while we continue to work on rebuilding the larger site. So if there is an emergency situation or if you have a very specific deadline, we can typically try to find some compromise there where we're getting something launched, even if it's not the full completed website that we'll eventually manage for you.
Great. 4 to 6 weeks, that's a pretty good time frame to have, a fully functioning website up and running. When it comes to other marketing activities like paid AdWords, SEO, I can imagine that usually takes a little longer to really see results and adjust plans if necessary. What are the time frames there on average?
So with SEO, we can usually get, or I guess I should take a step back in, there is some basic SEO included in all of the websites that we offer. I mean, we make sure you have a solid foundation of using the right keywords in the right places on your website, making sure search engines can access all the appropriate pages on your site, and that each page on your site is built in a way to give it the most potential to appear in search results. There's another level to SEO if you want to be more aggressive, if you want to improve your rankings, or if you're in a particularly competitive market. It might take investing more heavily in link building or other SEO tactics that can help improve those rankings and drive more traffic. And in those cases, we have a few different programs to choose from, and they all have a 3-month minimum commitment. Typically, we'll start seeing results in those programs within a few weeks, and maybe by the end of the first month, you can sort of start to see the rankings climb up. But we require that 3-month commitment just because SEO does tend to move a little slower. It takes time for search engines to find the changes that we've made, find the links that we've built for you, and then adjust their rankings appropriately. So in those cases, it's usually in the 1 to 3 month range where you'll start seeing changes. And sort of similar with AdWords, AdWords is I guess a little bit different because with AdWords you turn on your ads and you immediately start getting traffic and you can immediately start making adjustments based on that data that you're receiving. But really building a successful AdWords campaign is a process as well. What we typically do is spend about a week or two building out the campaign and ads that we think is the best place to start for you. And then again, we have a 3-month commitment, and over that 3 months, we're making tweaks to that, A/B testing ad variations, making bidding adjustments, dropping keywords that are not performing well, adding new keywords in to see how they do. And it's really over the course of a few months you can start to optimize that campaign and start to improve how much money you're spending per lead coming in.
Right. All right. Great. Thank you. And I went to your website and just looked at a couple, before and after examples for websites, which I thought were great. So a lot of them I found were in, the IT channel or MSP market. I love this one. It seems so much, more engaging with bigger pictures and just a more intuitive menu as well. So, and then another one very similar is that, do you have a couple best practice tips that you like to apply to every web design? Do you say we definitely always work with bigger pictures, or we always work with a scroll down menu? Are there any sort of threats that you find throughout the remodeled websites, or is it really a case-by-case basis?
A lot of it's case by case, but there are some pretty common things that we see that need to be changed. From a design perspective, a lot of the clients that come to us haven't updated their site in 3 to 5 years. And the best practices, or what's considered sort of a modern website, has changed fairly radically in that time. You can even see on this example here where you have the narrow, the before version is really narrow and really text heavy and sort of it has this style that looks like it's from 2005. Whereas what we build today typically has, it's broken off into segments. So as you scroll down the page, there's typically a banner area with a call to action, then a little area about the company and giving some basic information about the services they provide. And then it will go down into more details about the services they provide, perhaps some testimonials or some trust logos that we can put in there of either companies they work with or vendors that they've partnered with to provide their services. And then, of course, a footer section at the bottom with contact information and all that great stuff. So I think the main things that we see are missing from clients that come to us is sort of this old style that's fallen out of favor and has poor usability for visitors. You mentioned on that other one that has this sort of unintuitive menu structure. You really need to have, when you have a website and you have a specific goal in mind of capturing leads, you really need to have a website that's built to achieve that goal and to drive people to that goal. So having call to actions, buttons on the page, forms on the page that give a very clear signal to your visitors saying this is what you should be doing here. It's not just a brochure to read about your business. It's a place for them to provide their contact information and become a lead for your business. So you really need to make it glaringly obvious to them that this is what they're supposed to do on your website. You're supposed to click this button and you're supposed to fill out this form. I think that's one of the main things that's lost on our clients when they first come to us.
Right. And I think what a lot of partners or just business owners forget is how little time people often spend on a website of a business that they don't know too well, right? So if someone is browsing for an MSP in a certain area, they may just spend a few seconds on your website, and in those seconds, your message needs to be as clear as possible, and a call to action button needs to be as obvious as possible.
Absolutely.
So that's why a coherent website design is so important, right?
Right. Right, and like you mentioned, you only have a few seconds, and the main points need to be skimmable. You can't assume someone's going to read this multi-paragraph pitch about why you're better than your competitor. That needs to be obvious in one, the design, and two, the headlines as they spend maybe a second and a half or 2 seconds just scrolling down your page. It really needs to be this instant thing saying, oh, I have a good feel about this company. I want to learn more.
Right. Exactly. And looking at the results of companies that have been working with you, it's pretty impressive. On your website it says there's a 14.6% average growth in organic search for your clients compared to an average market growth of 3.7%, which is a huge difference. I mean, especially if you're trying to attract prospects, getting that much more traction can mean a lot more business or leads, potential leads, and then spending 30 seconds on average more time on a website designed by you than a non-mobile friendly site also reflects that it is that much more engaging and that much more captivating for your audience. And then a 51.7% growth in organic search over the first 6 months. Again, something that should make an investment worth considering, and also reflects on the importance of having a coherent online marketing strategy and being able to, trump the competition with a more impressive and winning online presence. So those are pretty impressive numbers, and I just have a few more questions for you. When clients come to you and approach you, especially about website design, what's the budget that MSP should allocate to online marketing in order to see results with you?
So I think at a really basic level, the minimum should be $3,000 to $5,000 US per year. I think that's enough to get a very nice website built for you, and enough to help maintain that site over the course of the year. And it also gives you some room for investing in some of the basic fundamental marketing channels that you want to be looking at. If you want to hire a freelance writer to start writing blog articles for you, or hire someone to handle social media for you, or be sending out email campaigns on a regular basis. You need to be investing in tools that are going to be able to make that happen, or investing in people that can make that happen for you.
Right. And if, MSPs approach you and they realize really our budget for online marketing isn't that big, how do you work with people that have, work on a tighter budget? Are there smaller bundled packages that you offer, or is it a fixed fee or nothing?
So with our website is based on a fixed fee, and that doesn't change throughout the time that a client stays with us. But if someone's tight on budget and knows that they need to be doing more with marketing, we're happy to help guide them in what they can be doing on their own. And I mean, like we mentioned earlier, sometimes you do need to invest in someone who's going to help you write or execute on certain things. But it's absolutely possible to learn how to do all that stuff on your own, and if you have the time and resources available, it's definitely possible to be managing your own AdWords account or writing articles on a weekly or even twice a month. Just be doing something to keep the ball rolling. So we're happy to help guide you and teach you about what steps you should be taking on your own. And if you get stuck along the way, like I said earlier, we're just an email away to help you out and to if you're not sure what makes for a good link in terms of SEO, we can help explain that to you and tell you how to go about obtaining those links to improve your search results.
Great. All right. And would you be able to pinpoint one or two marketing activities that you find, online marketing activities that you find having an immensely impactful effect on your client's business success?
So I think one of the biggest ones is email marketing, especially if you have an existing list of prospects, or have spent the time over the last couple of years or so building a list of prospects that you can email on a regular basis. I think that's really important for MSPs, just because the purchasing cycle for an MSP isn't necessarily this immediate decision that they're making when they arrive on your site. It's something that takes a couple of visits to your site, maybe a couple of calls with your sales team. They're making a fairly large business decision where they might be spending a couple $1,000s a month with you on a managed services package. And I think email comes into play there, because you can start nurturing those leads once they've made that initial contact with you or initially become aware of your business. So they might not need your services today. They might be happy with their current IT provider, or they might not be having any server issues today or any issues with their cloud programs. But there will be a day when they do have a problem, and if you can stay top of mind by sending out a monthly email newsletter or doing a seasonal promotional email, that might be enough that when they have that problem, they'll think of you and say, oh, I need to go talk to this MSP about getting my server issue solved. And that's when they come to you when they have that pain point that needs solving. So I think email is really important in that nurturing process, where you get the initial lead through a referral, or through SEO, or through online advertising, but they might not necessarily convert into a client right away. And email is the way that you sort of keep them on the line and ready to and thinking about you up until the point where they do actually need you. Right.
That makes sense. And last question from my side before I go check if the audience has any questions. In short, what do you think sets you apart from your competition or other marketing agencies?
So I actually touched on this a bit earlier. I think one of the biggest things is that we become an extension of your team, and that we're not going to build your website and leave you hanging, leave you to make your updates on your own, or have to force you to learn HTML or CSS to make those updates. We have the experts here ready and waiting to help out. I think that's the biggest thing, is that we really want to be a partner with you as your company grows. And I mean, our entire business model is built around keeping you happy and working every month to make sure that we're earning what you're paying us. So it's not this one-time project where we build a website for you and we disappear. We want to build a long-term relationship with you where We're always there to help out when you need us or answer your questions, to point you in the right direction, to help make changes to your site. Anything related to your website or online marketing, we want to be there for you.
Right. And I think that relationship point is a really important one. We often hear partners, coming to us with marketing feedback because that marketing contractor they've been working with quit or changed positions, and then they're left having to start from scratch. And that can be so frustrating, especially since marketing is supposed to be a long-term, consistent strategy and investment. So that's a very valuable asset.
Yeah, and our value proposition is really similar to the general value proposition of an MSP. I mean, MSPs want to build those long-term relationships with their clients where you're there for all their IT needs, and they turn to you whenever there's some tech issue that they need help with. We're the exact same thing, but for marketing.
Right. Perfect summary. So when it comes to marketing support, just from my end, in case you've never heard of eFolder, we provide a portfolio of different file sync, cloud backup, and disaster recovery services, both with a data center in Europe, in Amsterdam, and in the US. And what we like to do is make sure our partners are set up for success. So any content marketing questions you may have, we'll be able to help you with. And one thing we do to make that easier for you is producing so-called playbooks, which means it's a step-by-step marketing guide for each of our respective products that you can use to make that marketing much easier. And they contain videos, emails, white papers, ebooks, you name it. And then on top of that, you will have your dedicated marketing coordinator for anyone in Europe, that'd be me, who you can reach out to and just ask any marketing related questions and get any feedback you may need, and just help building more of a content strategy plan. We have one question for you, Tim, from the audience. How long does it typically take for a customer to sign up to your service? Do you find that people mull things over for a while beforehand?
Yeah, I think people do. Usually what will happen is during the sort of sales process, a lot of our clients will want to have a sort of an internal meeting with their team first before filling out our onboarding process, where we ask these detailed questions about what you're looking for in your website and what sort of things that you like. I do think it helps to be sort of prepared and make sure your team is all on the same page before getting started with us. With that said, one of the dangers of doing that is that you really don't want to be building a website. It's sort of called design by committee, where everyone's providing feedback saying, we want this, no, this should be changed to this. So it really should be one initial meeting that says, here's what we want to accomplish overall, and make sure your entire team is on the same page. But then have one person who is in charge of providing feedback to us, sharing that with your team and gathering your team's feedback, and sending that over to us. So yeah, I do think there's a little bit of preparation there. I don't think it needs to be really extravagant or perfectly planned out. I mean, the way we've built our creative process is that we can be flexible along the way. So what you need to start off is just a general idea of what you're looking to accomplish and what you think is the best first step to take. And from there, we can sort of put in our expert knowledge of what we think will work, and then get your feedback through that production process about what needs to be changed to content or design, and work with you to make sure we end up with a product that everyone is happy with. Right.
Okay, great. I think that answered the question. Thanks for asking. That was a good one. Any more questions from the audience? Or I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. Well, with that, thank you so much, Tim, for joining us today and giving us a better overview of online marketing, best practices, and how Pronto Marketing could help you. Anyone on the line, thank you for joining and listening in and asking questions. I will be sending out the slides later today, and they will also contain Tim's contact information. So if you want to get a quota or just meet and sit down with someone from Pronto Marketing and find out how they could help your business grow your online marketing strategy, you'll be equipped with that later today. So watch out for those emails.
All
Great.
right.
So thank you, Tim, and have a great rest of the day, everyone.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.